and welcome to Universal Heritage Television Nigeria. We are glad to have you once again on our face-to-face program on UHTV Nigeria. My name is Afam H, your host. I have as my guest today Madam Nnenna Ihebum. She is a native of Obakuru, Mbiri, and married to Ezenomi. Madam, did I get it? Ezenomi Uzaba Ikeduru. She is a writer and belongs to Association of Nigerian Authors. She has produced so many works in English and Igbo language. And I have to inform you, Igbo language, sorry. And I have to inform you too that she is also a champion of Igbo heritage. She is somebody who believes that we need to benefit so much from the past, which we have abandoned. Madam, you are welcome to our program.
Thank you very much.
Please remember to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube platform. Now, Madam, let me start with you. And the issues we are going to talk about dwell basically on the typical lifestyle of the Igbo society. So, Madam is going to take us through her experiences and then draw out some of those things we have not been doing right, especially in the growing of our children. And let me start with you, Madam. There is so much blame on parents. If you look at our youth today, they are involved in a lot of unwholesome conduct. Some are involved in scamming activities, kidnapping, and the rest of it. Or, you know, the youths are not in the good books of so many people. But there are other people who also feel that the parents should be held responsible for whatever the youths are doing, because there is this biblical statement that runs more or less overused, that when you train up a child in the way he should go, you know, he will not depart from it. So to that extent, parents have been held to be responsible for the conduct of their children, whatever it is that they are doing. I don't know how you see that. You are a mother, so how well have you been able to manage your own kids? And how does it play out with what is happening in our society?
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, I believe in that. Well, I would say I agree that if you train up a child in the way he should grow, he will not depart from it. But is it only the parents that train up a child?
Okay.
We have the educational institutions, the schools.
Okay.
In today's society, even as early as 6 months, some children have already been sent to school.
Okay.
They call it creche. So
as early as 6 months?
Yes, some children are already in school at 6 months of age.
Are you quarreling with that?
Yes, I am.
Why?
Because that is part of the problem we're talking about.
Okay.
There is time for everything.
Okay.
For their health, that's one aspect. Health of the child, well-being of the child is not wholesome.
Okay.
To release such tender children to school. But then, when you talk of upbringing and you're blaming the parents, you can't see that there is a mix-up there. If you have already sent a child to stay with strangers from 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, you should expect that the influence of the strangers, the school and the other children, will be heavier than the influence of the direct parents of the child. So blaming the parents is so myopic, in my view. It cannot be only the parents. We also have apart from the schools, we also have the churches. They are also part of the upbringing of children today. In the past society, Igbo society, the church had no place.
Okay.
So you could say, at that time, when we talk of upbringing of children, we would say parents and the larger society. The Igbo people believe that one person cannot train a child. And the other people are all the extended family and the entire community. If you were passing and saw a child misbehaving, no matter who the parents of the child was, or were, you who knew the person, the child, could flog that child, could correct, could reprimand, to say, why are you doing this or that? with full authority, but not now. If you do it now, the child will go and tell the parents, Uncle so person beat me or scolded me or whatever, and it will be a big deal. Because the parents will come and say, why? Who told you? Because that we have lost that communalism of the past. When we were one, we saw ourselves as one. There's an Igbo adage that says, Onye huru okuko, bogan or bogan anything na de mma. Ya chupu ya maka na onwe onye ma, onye ga-eri okwu okuko ahụ. But that's the idea, is that that child should be of use, not just to the parents, but to the entire society. So everybody was concerned, and it was accepted that everybody should be part of the upbringing. But today, it is nuclear family. We have gradually imbibed the nuclear family.
Narrowed ourselves.
Yes. So it's only the parents that have a say when you talk of upbringing of the child, I mean in the home. But now that the parents are fully in charge, we are also having to deal with the school and the church, at least. Then the peer group, the other children that the child must associate with. So that I'm just trying to say, it is narrow-minded to just say parents are to blame. Okay. So many factors are involved.
Okay, so many factors are involved. Now, at what age, appropriately, do you think a child should be sent to school if you are not comfortable with 6 months?
Well, at least when we grew up, it was 6 years.
6 years.
Yes, they would force you to put your hand over your head and touch the other ear. Then if your hand was able to get there, they would just say, yes, you're up to. And the standard age then for entering school, otakara, was 6 years.
Okay.
But at least the child would be a little grown enough to know his right from his left. He will be able to take care of himself to a large extent at 6, rather than 2 years, 1 year. To me.
So you are insisting on reverting, I don't know, are you insisting on reverting to the old school system?
It's not in my hands to insist. I'm just saying that it is better to allow the child to grow with the parents and the family first. Get that family orientation first, so that the family's values can penetrate properly before he's exposed to
the outside
the outside world. The school has a great influence on the child's psyche. So if there is no good foundation already laid, and you just throw the child into the school, it's a problem.
Okay, so what are the other, you see, we have the issue of unemployment all over the place. And some people who grew up from the past used to tell us that what we're experiencing these days do not exist, that typically somebody must find something to do in a typical Igbo society. You're either farming, you are engaged in maybe one craft or the other. This situation of you have youths roaming all over the place, and every person is relying on government. So what are you bothered about that at all?
Yes, I am.
The issue of unemployment.
Yes, I am. Yeah. And it stems directly from the type of education we are giving our children. So I find it difficult to actually blame these children who are misbehaving.
Okay, it means children should not be blamed?
Yes, personally, I find it difficult to blame them for taking to Mpuru Mmiri Kolos. I don't
well, you tell me this one that is Kolos.
That's the one that is raining now. They say Mpuru Mmiri has expired.
Okay.
It's no longer getting them high enough. They are jumping onto Kolos. So what I'm saying is that I find it difficult to blame those youths, those young people.
Yes.
Because they are simply giving out what they were given. You don't garbage in, garbage out. You don't expect something like...
What actually do you mean that following what they are giving?
Yes.
In what respect?
The school system that was brought to us was not for us. It was not to lift us. I mean, the colonial education that came to us did not come to prepare us for life, so to say. I think they were thinking more of raising mediocre or middle, what do they call them? There is a service, yes, manpower for themselves.
Okay.
They needed interpreters.
To enable them to do their business.
Good. They needed interpreters, they needed cooks, they needed cleaners and all that. Yeah. And they needed to be able to communicate with these people. And so that's why if you cast your mind back, you realize that we had too many grammar schools then. Yeah. They are still existing now in some places. Okay. So grammar schools, so the emphasis.
And the emphasis, no technical
good.
Education.
The emphasis was grammar.
Okay.
The emphasis was grammar. The emphasis of the entire education that time was grammar. How to get people that you could communicate with, tell them what you want, and they would understand and give you what you want. That is exactly the kind of education we received. That's the mindset they came with. Then it's expected that after they have left, we, the indigenes, should take over and do the education, drive the education that would service our land, that would give us the kind of things we need to live well. Okay. Because if we were focusing on the right things, we wouldn't still be dwelling on the colonial. I don't know whether you remember that. There was a time they used to ring the bell and everybody would be singing. They would teach us in school. Yeah. And when that bell goes, everybody, Bagaraji, Bagarede, Gakuko. Okay. Bagaraji, Bagarede, Gakuko. Yes. No, that is.
Okay, yeah, we should leave
every other thing.
Our farm work that we are doing. Okay.
They used to feed us.
Yes, okay.
We should abandon them. Leave the old people to take care of them.
And run to school.
Good. Clean your fingers. They shouldn't be dirty at all. Don't allow anybody to dirty your fingers. Yeah. Meanwhile, our own philosophy here is that akajaja nebuta onu manu. There's nothing wrong with clean fingers. But the emphasis was too much. They did not balance it well. So that the children will know that, number one, you must eat before you even have the strength to read and get what you're reading. Yeah. So there should have been a balance between the manual aspects and the mental things the school has to offer. The effect is obvious now. Okay. Most of our children hate farming. They detest it. They wish it would be eradicated from the surface of the earth.
You mean our youth feel that way?
Of course. Do you take your children to farm?
That's a good question.
Because if you do, I do it. Yes. And I know the reactions. Whenever we say, we have farm today, let's go to farm. Oh, it is so, it's as if you want to kill somebody.
And yet they must eat.
Good. They seem not to realize that it is from only that source that we should be getting our food. The orientation today is that there should be people whose job is to farm, our own is to buy from them. And so you see that the youths are they have poor orientation. And it is not their fault. Okay. Their fault, they are the parents. Do you know that there are parents as old as me, as I am, who cannot identify Ogu?
Parents?
Yes, there are parents who don't know what certain essential farm products look like now.
It will be strange to behold that.
There are parents whose second set is beyond even the younger. They feel it is the thing, to suggest that they should even think about those things is belittling them. It's better to send the cook to go and buy ingredients.
Yeah, they're not exposed to this.
Exactly, they have money. They feel that because you have the money, why bother yourself? Why dirty your fingers, your painted and long fingers with these things? So how will you blame the children of such a person for not knowing anything about who we are, what we eat, how we do things, and so on?
Okay, so you are actually faulting the education system we are running now.
Yes.
And then we had our own education system, maybe at an informal level,
Sure.
and which it takes us to providing for ourselves.
Yes.
And but the focus now is on reading and writing.
Good. Just carry it on your head. Load your head with knowledge, and most times empty knowledge.
What do you mean by empty knowledge?
Empty. Like, okay, let me give you an example. I had the opportunity of being in an interview panel for teachers some time ago. So, maths, we were talking about maths.
Mathematics.
Maths teacher, yes.
Okay.
So, these people, at least I remember 1 or 2 or 3 more people that I had this encounter with. I asked them, can you solve LCM problem?
Okay.
And HCF, you know, they go together.
Yeah.
So, yes, they could. You know, when you put the problem, 8 plus this, you know, those, they will solve it and give you the answer.
Okay.
Now I asked, LCM means lowest common multiple.
Yeah.
So I asked the person, what is multiple? No idea. What is factor? Because HCF is highest common factor.
Yeah.
What is factor? What is the relationship between multiple and factor? No idea. Now, this person wants to go and teach children how to solve the problem and get the marks.
Okay.
Because once you get the question and you get the correct answer, you are given the full marks. But he or she has no idea how to impact the children with the real knowledge. So that when you see multiple and factor, you will know their relationship. That is true understanding of the concept.
Okay.
So most of the knowledge is empty. That is shallow. It doesn't. They don't even think of applying it.
Okay.
Somebody is teaching chemistry, teaching the periodic table, and for the whole of the term, there's no single time this person comes to class with the ones we know around us.
Yeah.
To say, okay, this is calcium. Calcium is inside this thing. This is silicon. It's inside the sand. Contains silicon mainly.
Okay.
Nzu
Mm.
contains calcium.
Yeah.
At least it's majorly calcium. Bring these things to class.
To the class to
Show
demonstrate.
them. Show them charcoal. Tell them what it is. Do you understand? Because we are not taught to know those things. We were taught to cram.
Okay.
They even coined something for us in my own school days. Something you used to be able to remember the periodic table.
Yeah.
Mrs. So, hello, Helen, listen, blah, blah, blah. So the focus was just get the thing into your head and pass your exam. Go your way. After going your way, somebody will say, you read chemistry, right? Yes. So what is this? Can you relate kerosene and water mixture with your chemistry knowledge? Can you relate? Can you tell me how, okay, I have a practical problem. My kerosene poured into oil. Can you help me separate them? Because it's part of chemistry.
Yeah.
This person will just be looking at you. Because, oh, child, where
Okay.
But
The practical application of the knowledge. Okay.
wasn't the focus in teaching that child.
Yeah.
It wasn't. The focus was get that person to pass and go, get a big certificate. As Ambodo, you are now a chemist. You are now this. You are now that.
It takes us, this type of education, if I get you right, takes us away from our roots.
Sure. And again, even it's good though that we learn new things. It's not bad.
Okay.
But we should marry the two. You cannot cut off the roots and expect the tree to stand. No.
Okay.
We should have married the roots with the stem.
Yeah.
This is a new knowledge coming, new things coming. Yes, good. But we should have learnt it correctly. And it will just flow naturally from Ebanshi, from Ihendai Mama before.
Okay.
You know that, for instance, alchemy is chemistry, is the father and mother of chemistry.
Yeah.
And it started in Africa. It's we that own it.
Alchemy.
Yes, it's something
Can you
to
throw
do.
more light on
No,
that?
it's something to do with mixtures, how to mix things and get gold and all that.
Okay.
that is playing with substances, mixing them,
to produce different,
to produce something
different,
else. Good. So if we had continued, it will just be normal. It will just naturally flow. It will just be an expansion of the ideas, But because of the way they were thought to be alien. We were taught that these things are alien to us.
Okay. What exists in our own environment, we are told to abandon
to
it
see
because,
them good,
and then to follow the new way.
Follow the new way, which was not down to earth. If you go to where they're teaching them over there, it's different from what we have here, because they have the right philosophy. They are the ones driving their own education. My own quarrel is with our leaders.
Okay.
We need to fail. Okay.
We are not supposed to be crying anymore.
Yes, we should have taken charge of our own education by now.
Okay.
Our leaders should have planned our curriculum to take cognizance of our own environment. Do you know why our children remain unemployed and unemployable? It's just the school system. But if we had gotten things right, so many local things would not be wasting.
So many local things?
Yes, things around us would not be wasting. We would...
Like, give us the
thing. Now it's Ube period.
Yeah.
Ube contains a lot of oil.
Yeah.
Healthy, natural oil.
I've been taking a lot of it in the village, and it's like the thing has given me some stomach... because they are common all over. The children will pick it, and even me, I will go to the bush because the pear tree in front of me. I will go there very early in the morning, like we used to do.
Yes.
I will pick very good quantity, and they will bring for me.
Good.
So what
I'm saying is that many of those ube are wasting.
Yeah, they are wasting actually.
Because this is the season. This is the season when you expect it to waste. Okay. But if we were properly taught, that thing can be used to produce oil that you could even use to cook.
Really?
Yes, that oil, the oil.
Yeah, it has oil.
It has enough oil in it. You can squeeze it out. You can get it into some use.
Yes.
If a child learns how to do that, he's employed. Yeah. He doesn't need to go carry files about looking for. Meanwhile, the raw materials are everywhere. And there are so many other examples of this. If a child learns one crop, practically how to use one crop. Okay, there's a crop I know, castor oil. Even you, it may be in front of your house, but you would know that is
castor oil.
Yes, castor seed.
Castor seed, okay.
It may be there, but you wouldn't know that it's in the dustbins here. So many dustbins, yes.
And there are opportunities.
That thing is a gold mine. The oil is used partially in transformer repairs, generator repairs, aeroplane.
And these things are, you mean they can be found everywhere?
They are all around us. Many times, children use castor tree in their WAEC exams. Okay. It will be part of it. Yeah. But I bet you they don't know what castor tree is, most of them. Okay. Because our education is just abstract. It's hanging. So when a child spends 6 years in primary school, spends another 6 years in secondary school, goes on to spend another 4 or 5 years or even more in university, comes out as a graduate, then the parents now say, okay, it's now time to go and learn carpentry. Is it not funny? It's now time to go and apprentice yourself to a seamstress or a tailor because of the reality of no job. That means all those years were wasted. The children themselves know, the reasonable ones know that if I depend on this certificate, I will not have anything. So as soon as they come out after youth service, that after youth service is your introduction into frustration. So as soon as you finish, you now see the reality. Your parents are tired. They have trained you to this level. So you will not be expecting much from them. The government is done with you. So now, it is you and your chi, or whatever. So that at that point, they realize they need to get something practical. That's when they begin to look for real education.
So these are some of the issues that create
unemployment. Yes. And frustration that leads them to start taking kolos, start taking mkpurumiri, start taking guzoro.
Okay.
All kinds of nonsense happening in our society. And we are just watching because we don't have the right people at the helm of affairs.
Okay, madam, that's very interesting. This, your chat is very, very revealing. I think we need to bring you back here some other time to talk more, because there are still other areas we want to find out some information from you. Well, what is your final words to the Igbo society, to the authorities? Just within 1 minute.
Okay, my final word is that we should take responsibility for how our young people are turning out. Let us see it as a problem that needs to be solved. And solving it means focusing on the education sector. Make education practical.
Okay.
Change the nonsense curriculum, where till today they are still teaching our children that Mungo Park discovered River Niger. Tell me how that affects, how that will help the child in any way. How? They have removed history from our schools. Most, the Igbo language is almost dead in the school system because it is regarded as a secondary language under English, which is a foreign language. Okay. You cannot come to my land and be superior to me. English cannot come and suppress Igbo, and we are all watching. That is the height of irresponsibility on our part. Igbo should be compulsory, for real. It should be compulsory for real. And people who pass Igbo language should have direct, even if they fail English, they should go to university.
People who fail
who pass Igbo but fail English should go to university.
Okay.
Yes, we should keep increasing our value.
Yeah.
If we don't increase our own value, nobody will do it for us. Yeah. And there you go.
Thank you so much. Viewers, you can see how loaded Madam's discussions have been. And in the course of the discussion, he has told us that we have lost so much in communality, bringing ourselves together. And he has a lot of points to justify his comment that youth should not be blamed because they are guided by what they see. And the colonial education that was brought to us, she is insisting, was not designed to help us. And we're only taught to cram. There are so many other things, disturbing facts she has raised. And the education authorities, the leaders, are being challenged at this point to do what is right to reverse the situation. On this note, we round off the program. My name again is Afam Echi, your host. Please remember to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube platform. Thank you for being part of the program.